All right. Today's math lesson, we are going to take a look at finding the area of a complex shape. Now, a few lessons ago, we worked on this, and so we are going to come back to it now, now that we've worked a little bit more with triangles, and just trying to make sure that we're solving these like a puzzle, trying to break these big, crazy shapes down into some more manageable shapes of shapes that we know. So there's no formula. If you look at the shape I have here, I've done the measurements all the way around the outside. There's no formula that we know that can solve this, this problem. We cannot find the area using any formula. So what we have to do is we have to break it down into a couple of shapes that we can find. Now, as we talked about the other day, we can do this in lots of different ways. So I'm going to show you the two different ways that you can break this shape down. Now, there might be more, but I'm going to show you two. The first way I see is that I could draw a line right there, kind of breaking that up into a big rectangle, a little bit thicker rectangle on the top, and then this long, skinny rectangle on the bottom. Okay, so if I can find the area of both of those rectangles, I'm going to be golden to be able to add that together and get the rectangle for the total. So I've got to figure out, all right, what is the length of one of my sides? What's the height of this? And I see that it's right there. It's 9. Okay, I see that very easily my other measurement is the width, and that it is 8 right there. So I know the formula for finding the area of a rectangle is base times height, or length times width. So I know that it is 9 times 8. 9 times 8 is 72. So I'm going to take that 72, I'm going to put it in the middle and give it a circle so that I remember it later. Now we're going to walk away from it for a moment, but we're going to need that number in the end. Now I need to find what is the area of this bottom shape. Okay, what's the area of this bottom shape? So I see that I know I need my length, my width, my base, and my height. I have one of those numbers already out for me with 6. The other number, I'm going to have to use some problem-solving skills to solve. Okay, so I need to get all the way across here. So I can see that there is, from there to there is 4. The other side is 4, but I need to figure out what is this big middle gap here. Okay, well, what I know about rectangles is that the top and the bottom are going to always be the same number. So if I look and it shows me that the top is 8, I know that the bottom, or this little gap that we are missing, is 8 as well. So now I'm going to take the 4 from over here, going to add that 8, gets me 12, and then I have this other 4 on the other side, which gets me 16. Okay, so that entire side is 16. So I've got to take 6 times 16 to get that area. All right, so I am going to work it out. I'm not going to try to do it in my head. 6 times 6 is 36. Bring up the 3. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9, and I get 96. So this bottom rectangle has an area of 96 meters square. That top rectangle has an area of 72 meters square. So now I just need to add those together to get the area of the total shape. Okay, 6 plus 2 is 8. 9 plus 7 is 16, giving me the area of 168 meters squared. Don't forget that label, because if you leave it off of there, someone might think that it is a much different measurement than meters. If someone took that as inches or millimeters, it would be a much different answer. All right, so now I'm gonna do a bunch of erasing. There we go. Let's get it all to erase there. And now we're going to take a look at a second way that we can do this. Okay, so I broke it apart with one line. Another way I could do it is break it apart into 3 little rectangles. Okay, both ways are going to get me the exact same thing. All right, this little rectangle, I see I have 6. I have 4, giving me a area of 24 because I multiply those two together. This other small rectangle also is 6 and 4, so that has an area of 24. So now I just need to find the big one. Big one in the middle, I have 8. I see that from here to here is 9. Trying to extend it all the way down, I have to add that 6 together, giving me 15. So I have to take 8 times 15. All right, I'm going to do that. 8 times 5 is 40. Carry the 4. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 4 is 12. So this big one in the middle is 120 meters. All right, now I add those together. 120 plus 24 gets me 144. Adding on the second 24 that I had, and it gets me 168 meters squared. So we get the same answer. It's just 2 different ways that we can look at it. All right, let's look at one more. Now we've thrown in a little bit of a wrinkle here with some triangles. But remember, we've learned how to find the area of these triangles, of these right triangles. We know that we do the same thing as we do with a rectangle. We just add an extra step. We take the base times the height, and then we just divide it in 2. If you remember from class, we took that piece of paper, and when we cut it corner to corner, we noticed that a rectangle is honestly just made up of 2 right triangles. That is why you have to divide by 2. So, just like the other shape, we need to start breaking this shape up. Okay, we need to break this up because there is no formula to solve this. So I'm going to break it up right there. So I have a big rectangle right here, and I have 2 little right triangles that I can solve right there. All right, that is a very, very important thing for me to know. Now, to solve this big one right here, I see that I need to take 6 times, and here's where I run into problem, because this 10 goes all the way. That's from all the way from that side to the other. So we can't just take this. All right. So let's say I do some more measuring, and I find out that right here is 2 yards. All right. If I take those 2 yards away from the 10, I know that from here to here is actually 8. All right, that's actually 8. So, when knowing that, we take length times width, or base times height, 8 times 6. 8 times 6 is 48. Okay, so we got 48 there in the middle. Then, what we do is we have to find the area of these small little triangles. I know that the height of these triangles is 3. It says so right there. The base of these triangles are 2 because we solved that up here. So to find that, I have to take 3 times 2. That gets me 6. But with a triangle, the biggest mistake I see kids make is to forget to cut it in half. They forget to cut it in half. They forget to divide by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So this little triangle has an area of 3 yards squared. Top triangle is the exact same triangle. It's just flipped. So I know that that is 3 as well. So to get my total answer, I take 48 plus 3 gets me 51. Adding on another 3 gets me 54. Check my label. We're working in yards. It is area, so it has to be squared. So it's 54 yards squared. So with these problems that you're working with these complex shapes, you can see how important it is to stay organized with your work, how important it is to write numbers inside those shapes, making sure you're keeping things organized, you're writing things down and not trying to do it all in your head. The more you try to do in your head with these, the more likely you are to make a little calculation error. So even if you know how to do this, if you're not coming up with the correct answer, if you're making calculation errors, that is a problem. And a lot of the errors that I see made is because people are trying to cut corners. They're not staying organized. So use my suggestion. When you find a shape, write the area inside it and put a little circle around it. That lets you know to come back to it later. And remember, with any sort of triangle, do not forget to cut it in half at the end. Do not forget to divide by 2. Those are the 2 mistakes I will see most likely, or that I see the most times. So make sure that you're being really careful as you work. So today's problems, there are going to be about 4 of them. Your job is to work through them and try to solve them the best that you can, breaking these complex shapes down into smaller, manageable shapes. Okay? Good luck. Do as many as you can. If you get to one and you are stumped, we will take a look at it tomorrow when you're in class or at your check-in on Friday. All right, everyone. Good luck, and we'll talk to you soon.